Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned.
Miracle Boy Boxing, guys. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and ladies and gentlemen, Edgar the Monster Berlanga is officially back. He's back in his knockout ways, scoring a knockout for the first time in 3 years. All thanks to the step up in competition. But at 22-0 now, 17 knockouts. A lot of people doubted him coming into this fight, saying that because he haven't had a knockout in a while. This guy's undefeated. He can box. He can punch. He got a good right hand. This is it for Berlanga. And again, Berlanga gets the job done. This time he does it in impressive fashion. It was very. If you're an Edgar Berlanga fan, this was very satisfying to see, because Edgar hasn't had a knockout in 3 years. So, and not just because he got a knockout, is the way he did it. Starting right hands repeatedly and then dropping McCrory hard. Referee stopping the fight, and it was a good stoppage. McCrory was out of it. No legs, nothing. Prior to that, though, it was a competitive fight. McCrory was no slouch. He's no world beater or elite fighter, but he was a live dog. He was a good boxer puncher. Tall, rangy. Could have easily kept Berlanga on the outside and do what he wanted, because you could see that he knew what he was doing in there, man. When they were feeling each other out in the first round, McCrory was being patient as well, pawing that jab, looking to time Edgar as well, and trying to land that right hand. But Edgar, a lot of people underestimate Edgar of how strong he is and how hard of a puncher he is. Because Edgar, yes, he was feeling him out in the first round. He barely let go any punch until the second round. And when he started to let go his hands, especially and that jab, even the jab, it snapped McCrory's head back repeatedly. Anytime Edgar would land, McCrory will feel it and step back. Both guys had some good exchanges with left hooks. Edgar was doing excellent body work as well. He was digging to the body with the left hook. The right hand was landing, and McCrory showed a really solid chin. He's a guy that never been stopped, undefeated, 18-0, 9 knockouts. Coming in, people were saying that Edgar was going to get knocked out and all that stuff. And once again, Edgar proved everyone wrong. He did the knockout himself. Everyone keeps saying Edgar ain't fight nobody, but Demon Nicholson, Marcelo Coceres, Romero Angulo, Alexis Angulo, Quigley. These are good fighters. There ain't Canelo, Benavidez, and Caleb Plants, but they're good fighters. They can fight. And Edgar got the job done. Steve Rose, it is what it is. He got the job done. Yes, some of those performances were not impressive, especially the Steve Rose fight. I was really surprised that Edgar performed that way. And let's see what other fight, even in the Angulo fight. I thought he boxed well, but then it was like I thought he could have done better. But he didn't, but he got the job done regardless. The Demon Nicholson performance was pretty good, and the Coceres, even though he got dropped. But the Quigley fight was a good performance. He didn't get the knockout, but he was a good performance. And then, of course, last night against McCrory, tremendous performance. That's the Edgar Berlanga that we all fell in love with back on ESPN when he was knocking everybody out in the first round. 16 first-round knockouts in a row. He didn't get the knockout in the first round, but he got it. Finally got it after 3 years. And it was very... he made a statement by doing it. He looked good at it. There was no controversy in the knockout. It was a legit KO by a guy with a solid chin, good power, can box. And also, he was a former light heavyweight world champion. Now, the title, I had to see which light heavyweight title he won, and it says the IBO title. A lot of people don't give credit to the IBO or sanctioning body organization. It's not really legit. It is a world title, but it's not really legit like the IBF, the WBA, the WBO, the WBC. So if you haven't won the WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF titles, ain't worth talking about. But at the end of the day, IBO is an organization, and when fighters win that belt, they call it's a world title. It's a world title. I don't know why they don't count the IBO. Doesn't make any sense. If they don't count the IBO title, why is it there? They might as well call it an interim title if that's the case. But it's not. It's a world title. But McCrory won that title by knockout. So this is the guy that has that experience, that had that experience coming in with Edgar Berlanga, and Edgar went in there and did his thing, man, and knocked him out in 6 rounds. And Eddie Hearn was saying this fight ain't gonna go past 6. And then when I was watching in between the 6th round, that was said in between the 6th round, and then during the 6th round, I was like, so the pressure for Edgar to get the job done inside 6 rounds was there once Eddie Hearn said it. Once the announcer said it, Quigley, I think it was Morris said it. So I'm watching the fight in the 6th round. I'm like, oh God, Edgar now has to get the job done in 6th to prove that what Eddie was saying is true. And that right hand landed, boom, all out of nowhere. Repeatedly, 3 straight right hands in a row. There goes McCrory to the ropes. Both guys right there, chest for chest. Boom! McCrory lands threw an uppercut. He got hit with a right hand solidly, right on the chin. He took it well. McCrory been showing a solid chin throughout the fight. And then the next one. And then down he goes. Timber hard down to the canvas. And he was very shaky. And the white towel got thrown in before the referee decided to stop the fight. So, impressive performance by Edgar. He needed this performance. You know, Mungia in his fight with John Ryder, he needed that. The performance that he put in against John Ryder and the KO, he needed that. He needed that to look good and to beat a good opponent. Edgar did more or less the same thing. Yes, McCrory's not a John Ryder, but Edgar turned in more or less the same performance Berlanga did. You know, it was a competitive fight, and in the end, he got the knockout, just like Mungia. He got the knockout, and that's what he needed to get Mungia's attention and Canelo, if he gets Canelo, which is my opinion. I don't think he will get Canelo. I think he'll get Mungia more, but he needed that. Since Mungia turned in that type of performance, Edgar had to do the same thing, and so said, so done. He did. So Edgar Berlanga, guys, he's in the mix now with the top dogs at 168 pounds. At this point, Edgar can fight who he wants, I guess. Mungia, any top 168. Caleb Plant. John Ryder now is retired. He's the mandatory for Canelo Alvarez. WBO. To me, the fight that needs to happen is Jaime Mungia, man. That's a tremendous fight. Yes, Puerto Rico, Mexico sells. If Edgar fights Canelo, that'll be a massive pay-per-view. I think it'll do over 1 million buys. Because I know, because of the fan base these two fighters have, Canelo and Edgar have a huge fan base. Edgar has a huge fan base. Even though he doesn't have the accomplishments as Canelo have, he has a huge fan base. And they're going to want to tune in and see what happens. And the haters are going to want to tune in and see what happens. Edgar has a lot of haters. So, it's going to do some tremendous numbers in pay-per-view, and it's a massive fight. It'll be the biggest fight in Puerto Rico versus Mexico rivalry since Cotto Canelo. So, that'll do huge numbers. Even if Edgar fights Mungia, it'll do the same thing. But, be that as it may, guys, Edgar turns in a KO for the first time in 3 years. I guess a pretty decent opponent in Patrick McCrory. A guy who can box, punch, has won the IBO light heavyweight title by knockout. Undefeated, 18-0. Guy that doesn't know how to lose. big guy, tall guy. So Edgar turned in what he needed to turn in, and he did it in tremendous fashion. So congratulations to Edgar now, 22-0, 17 knockouts. He's in line now to fight Canelo, Mungia, whoever he wants at 168. Miracle Boy Boxing, I'm your host, Wilson Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, guys. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing right here. Edgar the Monster Berlanga is back in the KO, is back in his KO ways. Let's see if he can continue to get more KOs. This is your host, Wilson Cruz, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.